All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Somers Town Board regular meeting starting here at 7:04, Thursday, December 12th, 2024. Before we start tonight's meeting, we're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now, before we sit down, we do want everybody to know that we are well aware of our sweaters.
Who voted?
Yeah.
Gonna vote on the sweaters tonight?
Fine. Do we get to vote?
They get a.
Yeah.
There's 3 people get to vote. I don't know.
It's ugly as sweater. Not ugly.
Can't
as
have
purse.
The supervisor brought in this tradition, which is a fun one at the last meeting of every year. We've done, in some cases, ugly sweater. Some are not, or some are uglier than others.
Yes.
But,
Look at the others. Yes.
But- you can tell when it's ugly when you wear it one day a year.
Yeah.
That's when you know it's an ugly sweater.
These are very loud sweaters up here. These are. All right, Patty, can we start roll call, please?
Councilman William G. Faulkner.
Here.
Councilman Richard G.
Here.
Councilman Anthony J. Sirico.
Here.
Councilman Thomas A. Garrity Jr.
Here.
Supervisor Rob Scarano.
Here. All right, we're gonna right into the public hearing for the 2025 preliminary budget. It's a continuation. Make a motion up to continue the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Yeah.
Aye.
So moved.
Thought it was maybe.
Anybody here for public comment? All right, I'll make a motion to close that public comment then.
Second.
All in favor? So move. Sorry, public hearing. Make a motion to open up public comment if anybody's here for public comment.
Second.
All in favor? All
Aye.
right, so moved. Anybody? No one here for public comment? Okay, I'll make the motion then to close out public comment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. All right, Patty, department reports?
I have reports from the town clerk, building inspector, zoning board of appeals, plumbing, Bureau of Fire Prevention, Parks and Recreation, planning and engineering, tax receiver, and director of finance.
All right, thank you. Okay, let's move on to business of the board. First little town of Somers update. As everybody is aware, I hope, Somers football team three-peated as state champs. Been there for the last 4 years. They won 3 in a row, so great job.
That is tough to do.
Very tough to do. Right up there with, I'm almost going to say the word, but I won't just yet.
Some of the best football this season.
Yeah.
Not
What's gonna be interesting is what happens next year if they actually get moved down to the B division.
Well, they're
Talking about
gone.
based on
They're in B.
enrollment.
No doubt.
I mean, they're undefeated in the A. You know, it's amazing, and it's a testament to all the coaches, Anthony and the rest of them. I think they're, Patty, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think their record is 53-2. One was a state championship loss 4 years ago by like 2 points, 1 point. And one was a loss to Ramapo, which if you saw the pictures after the game,
Yeah.
the guy was down on the 2-yard line, rolled into the end zone, which in high school football is not a touchdown. So, and that was 2 points also. So, I mean, it's been amazing what they've done, and they're good kids. I'm lucky enough to get to do the change for the home game, so I get to be up close and just as somebody who went to the school, much like you, Rob. You know, it's great to see.
It's been amazing, man. I'm getting phone calls from alumni from Minnesota and getting out there, and people from California are following it, watching it on TV. Excited. So it's really special to watch, and it's something that I've never seen or been a part of in my playing careers, and that was even in college where we had top 5 defenses for a number of years. But it's been amazing to watch, and the way the kids hold themselves in public, and when they're out and about, and how receptive they are to talking to fans and the kids, and our youth programs have been amazing. A lot of the kids get the chance to play at Michie Stadium up at West Point. So there's a big tradition here in the town of Somers, and I'm sure it's going to continue for a long time.
You
I'd
know,
also say that, Anthony, most people know that he's a graduate of high school. The same with
Yep.
your son, right? He's one of
Doug,
the, and he's one of the coaches.
and Doug Packard, that's right.
And Doug Packard. And so, know all those guys. I mean, my kids played with them, but these guys have grown up and they're the management team now, and they've just done an awesome job.
But the scope of this is unbelievable just to think about it. Because if you remember, I don't know, was it 6 years ago, or however many years ago, we gave them the key to the city because it was never going to happen again.
Never gonna
They
happen.
won, and oh my gosh, it's such an occasion, and we're running out of stuff to give them.
Yeah.
I mean, we're gonna have to, we're gonna have to give them the townhouse or something.
Yeah.
Every year, it's something. So, but just the scope and the number is, they're known obviously statewide by, you have to beat Somers if you're going to be any sort of a contender.
And it's also statewide history too. I was speaking with the principal and the athletic director last week, and 3 consecutive state championships in one sport within the same gender. We don't think it's happened anywhere in New York State ever before.
I thought Edge,
Well, in other sports
Edgemont.
has, but not in football.
3 consecutive.
Consecutive wins, same as Edgemont.
Mhm.
Where we're topping.
And Dobbs Ferry.
okay, that's what I
So
did
we've been,
Okay.
we've been there 4 times.
Nobody's been there 4 times.
in a row.
In a row,
In a
right?
row.
In a row,
Yeah.
because we were there a couple years before that when Anthony's dad
Yeah.
was the coach, and we won a state
Skipped a
championship.
couple
as well.
of years. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
You know, it is hard. It is hard to win a sectional championship. One, it is. I know this, to win that many state championships, but that's not why you have an athletics program. We all know you don't have to be an All-American to give All-American effort. You don't have to be All-State to be All-State teammate, and that's what you bring out in athletics. And in a time when it's selfie generation, everything's me. Here's where you, in sports, as well as an orchestra or in a play, but all those things are good for kids because you give up yourself for something other than just you. It's to the good of the group, kind of like serving on a town board, I might say. It is. And, so we should not, we should honor all those, even if you didn't have a winning record, but you really gave that championship effort. We don't know those teams. We can't know those teams. We read the headlines. We know the exciting games, but they should all be applauded. But to win 3 in a row and be in the state championship 4 times in football, there's some other sports that might be a little easier, but that is just that really is amazing.
It is.
Really historic.
It is. And then again over the weekend too, our D14 girls cheer team, yeah, they took 3rd in the nationals down in Florida. So,
Wow.
Oh,
man,
wow.
what a big week. So I mean,
Wow, that's great.
yeah, it's pretty impressive. So
Came early.
yeah. And then a couple other things too. I've talked about it several times when it comes to the crosswalk. We finally got the button in. The lights are in the the flashing signals are in. I think we're just waiting for one more part, and I'm hoping that we can celebrate this project being completed here in the next week or two, or next week. I thought it was gonna be done this week, but how things go with parts. So hopefully we'll get that done here in the next week or so. So looking forward to that, and then doing our ribbon cutting ceremony for that. I think would be great for the kids, especially going across that main road there. That is all I have for the Town of Somers updates. And then let's go right on to the 2025 preliminary budget. Right now, Bob, do you have anything that you want to add, or you want to come up and just talk since I brought you all the way here? And Bob Kehoe, our Director of Finance.
Evening. Really not much to add other than the changes that were approved last week are incorporated into what you see before you.
We're under the tax cap.
We're well under the tax cap.
We're good.
$111,000.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. And I think we're in good shape to approve it. Any questions? Happy to answer.
I'm good.
No. Anybody have anything they want to add? No.
Great job. There's a huge effort and concerted effort,
Yeah.
but greatly appreciated in that and the final product.
Yeah, so I'll just
good
Great.
work.
give Bob, great job, and your team, right?
Yep.
Carolyn,
Team.
Dean, they did a fabulous job putting all the numbers together for us, and
All the department heads.
All the department heads
all
did a-
contribute. So it's a group effort.
We see it in the audit every year, but Somers is a fiscally sound town.
A state champion.
That's right. Yeah.
Champion of budgets.
State
12
championship
years.
budget,
Yeah, I wish.
3 years in a row.
When it comes to the budget, it's 12 underneath the tax.
Yeah. We're just not
But-
the parade for that, I guess.
But in all seriousness, I mean, we
We deserve it.
have a very good foundation. We're in very good shape. We've been able to keep the taxes low, for the time that I've been on the board, which has been quite a while now. And Bob, you've been a big impact on that since you've been here for the
Yep.
last 10 or 12 years. I know you always look at saving us money wherever you can, so it's always appreciated.
Yep, that won't change. So, and settled 2 contracts during the year, and I think that's testament to the board and the way we negotiate, fairly straightforward negotiations. So think that's a good thing.
Good.
And behind the scenes, we used to get a book about this thick,
Mm.
Yeah,
And
that was
and it's very much digitized and easy to follow.
that's Carolyn's doing, so that's all her credit. So,
Good.
Yeah, she does a good job really
Very good job.
organizing things and being on top of all that.
Yep.
Every budget is about things you think, words are, everybody's got words. Budgets are what really speak in towns, county, state, or federal actions. And you try to do the right thing. Sometimes it's more of one thing, less of another. I'm not sure you ever get it exactly right, but there is give and take and back and forth and all those. And there's some areas, for example, library, I hope that there's been a cutback in hours. I don't like that. And hopefully we've been told that will even out next year because of some things that have happened in the past over at the library. So nothing's perfect, can always do better. And each year, we hope next year will be better in ways that benefit Somers, even in ways that people don't see. Crosswalks, we'll see, and we'll look forward to that, but other things too.
yeah, and you're able to see that we're doing these projects without bonding, so we're
Right.
Yep.
saving a fair amount of interest.
As you mentioned, we have several capital projects coming on, which people will be able to see the effects of
Yep.
that probably going forward, either next year or the year after.
Yes,
Those are big things for the town.
Okay.
without a doubt.
All right.
So,
Have a good holiday.
thank you. Well, I'm going to hang around for the ARPA discussion.
Okay.
No. Okay. So I'll make the motion here to adopt the 2025 preliminary budget.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Patty, number 3, we're going to remove the Route 6 project, but we are going to add KG&D and Eric Heyer to come up here and talk about the Reese Park project that we have going on.
East Park improvement.
Reese Park Improvement Project.
Maybe the plan will come up.
He's working.
Anyway, while he works on that, hi, Eric Heyer, KGD Architects. We're located right down the street in Mount Kisco. And we're here tonight representing the town of Somers on a project at Reese Park.
And here we are.
So you can see the overall park plan right there. So a little bit of a description of the site in question tonight. The town with Westchester County jointly owns 11-acre parcel of land between Reese Park and Plumbrook Road.
Just orient us. Where's the pavilion on this map?
So north is to the left, south, Plumbrook is as far as you can go to the right.
You could tell where the parking lot is and yeah.
Okay, parking lot and the pavilion.
If you look at that red
Got it.
box right there, that's
Oh,
part of
not-
the campus we're actually going to be discussing tonight. And so the big gray box in the middle there is the parking lot,
You're right. Yep.
Okay.
right? So the lot in question is generally rectangular in shape with the northwest corner cut out for the Mount Zion Church property. And so that's what you can,
Mount Zion Church is where?
Down in the bottom.
Right
Right.
there. Okay, got it.
can you see it?
Yep.
Okay. The lot pitches down approximately 50 feet from north, which is left, to right, which is south, down to towards Plumbrook. And it's currently mostly wooded with an intermittent water course along the eastern edge between the property and the neighbor, which is just up the page or just to the east. And the lot is designated as recreational for recreational use.
So, I mean, just Rob, why don't you just explain the swap so everybody gets current on that? You accomplished that.
Yeah, so I mean, it was in the works for about 15 years when we were talking to the county about swapping the Reese Park and with the adjacent property over on the other side of Plumbrook.
So that used to be Anglefly in that triangle
If-
there. I mean, is it Anglefly?
Yeah,
Part- it was-
Anglefly, right.
It was part of the
All
Anglefly
of it,
property.
yeah.
part of
Yeah.
the Anglefly, and
Right.
where the town of Somers had owned this part of the property out here, and then the county owned this property in here. When I first came on, and when I first got be the supervisor, one of the first things we did is we started talking about, again, the property land swap, once again, try to bring it back to fruition. We were successful, I think, last year when it was signed off on. And then with our now with our expansion here, we brought in KG&D to talk about, uses for future uses for the property. And the first one here is Eric will talk to you a little bit about is the access road leading there, because that's, as you guys know, we only have one entranceway in and out of Reese Park. We've been told, several, by our police department, our chief of police, that, another emergency access road would greatly benefit this park.
So our scope of work, and we're just here tonight to talk about phase one,
Mhm.
is to, as Rob mentioned, construct a new paved two-way, 24-foot wide, official, it's about 1,000-foot long road that
It's for
connects.
everyone else's, 24-foot is standard,
It's a standard width.
right?
Town
Not like my driveway. It's a road.
Correct. Two ways. That connects from the main parking lot that's currently there at Reese Park down to Plumbrook Road. It's not straight because there's a 50-foot grade change, and so we're addressing that as part of this. The average grade for the length of the road is approximately 4%, although it maxes out at 9% at one short section of roadway. We're proposing to demolish 3 of the old tennis courts. Currently, there's 6 tennis courts. The 3 that are on the western side, which are newer, are planned to remain. And the 3 older ones are planned to be removed for 1, the access road, 2, to construct 4 pickleball courts, and 3, to pave an additional 22 parking spaces on campus, which will be adjacent to the courts and the playground for common use. The proposal also includes installing underground stormwater management piping along the length of the road, as well as stormwater basins at the southern end to address and mitigate runoff. Athletic fields and other recreational uses are not being addressed during this phase. Usable woodland acreage for future development will remain, and you can see that there. And the future uses could be a playing field, hard surface athletic courts, additional parking, again, but all that will be discussed at a future date. And I'm sure there'll be plenty of opinion as to what should go there.
Eric, is any of that wetlands?
The only wetlands is at the eastern edge of the property. There's an intermittent water course. You can see how as the driveway sort of loops around,
Yeah,
it loops around and almost kisses where the intermittent water course is.
right.
And there's a section about 200 feet long, which is not planned to be paved at this point. And
Okay.
I'll hit on that briefly. That section will be a gravel driveway or item 4.
And those other structures in the grayish area are homes, right? That are,
Here?
yeah,
Yeah, those are homes up there.
Yes.
That's where Plumbrook wraps around. This-
yeah, okay,
Here.
okay.
Turns into.
And that's going to be gravel, Eric, because of its proximity to the water course there.
So, yes. So if I get into the surveying and wetlands aspect of this proposal, We did do on-site wetlands mapping. It was conducted and flagged. Based on the findings, New York City DEC went out there, New York State DEC looked at it. It's will not regulate it because of what the findings were. And however, there's a 220-foot long section which is within that 100-foot buffer, setback buffer, that will need to be maintained as gravel, at least for now. At some point in the future, we may want to go back and we may want to address that with them. But to get approvals, to get a fairly expedited approval here, we're planning to go in with that section being gravel. That section of the roadway is the most level on the site. I said it's averages about 4% grade. It gets up to 9%. That section right there is 1% or 2%. It's a relatively flat section of roadway.
Yeah, and again, for the people who are watching this or may look at it when it gets onto YouTube, the reason for that is to move the project along and have that section, not to go through all of the other stuff with the other agencies. And this way, because the most important thing for right now is to get that access road in and have, especially when we have large events there.
Next summer.
And next summer.
Yeah.
From, our last July 4th celebration, we had over, close to 3,000 people at Reese Park.
Will the pickleball courts and the tennis courts be operational within this first phase?
They are part of phase 1.
Okay.
Road that's going to be, the access road to the south, it curves, which I can kind of see as pluses and minuses to it. One is when Independence Day finishes up and people are heading out, it's kind of a nice buffer to have, that kind of funnel going out to the main road.
But we're not going to use that for that, are we? That's going to be only for emergency.
Well,
Yeah.
eventually down the road, it will
Events?
be, the events it will be open for, but eventually down the road, it will be.
Oh, it'll be for events too?
It,
Okay, I
it will
thought
be,
was just for
but it'll also down the road, it will also be another entryway into the park as well. So you'll have two you have the one of course, on the main road, and then one off of Plumbrook.
Still to be determined, doesn't mean in the winter that's going to be open. That'll be up to the parks, but yeah, it'll have, but one would think,
And that's why it's being designed as a full 24-foot wide
Right.
official town road for
So
full
why-
use.
Got it.
So
Can I have the second slide? Maybe.
See the
So there's a detailed slide that shows that red box right there. It shows a blow up of that section. If
He's working on it.
we can get slide 2 on.
oh, there you are. Oh,
Well, I'm on, but you don't need to see the back of my head. We need to see the plan.
let me just say, well, wait. You would think if you just ask someone, oh, we're going to put a road in over there so it's emergency exit and you get out. Okay, just cut it through. But it was not that easy at all. You need to engineer this steep slopes, the water.
So
It's a much more complicated thing than at least I would have thought. And I think most people would just, oh yeah, go out that way after the tennis courts. And that's not what happened.
So there's about 16,000 cubic yards of cut and about 16,000 cubic yards of fill.
one, Eric.
So that's the plan right there. And so you can see it sort of S loops around. It's Plumbrook is on the right side there, and you curls around to the right, to the east, and then it curls around to the left, to the north. And then you can see sort of in a darker box here, that's a new parking lot. And then beyond that is the existing very large parking lot that's part of the campus.
Are those catch basins over there, those circles,
The circle
Plumbrook?
adjacent to Plumbrook will be, yes, basins. And you can see on either side of the road, on the first turn to the right, you can see on the left side, there's a bunch of lines that's showing cut. And as you go up a little bit farther to the bend, before it bends to the left, you can see a bunch of lines on the right-hand side, that's fill.
What's a cut? What's a fill?
You have land, and you're cutting into the land to create one bend, and then you're taking that land that you've cut out, that you've removed,
Moved it.
and you've put it in a different part of the site, and that's you're filling. So you're removing some in some places and you're putting it back in other places. It's a lot less expensive to keep soil on campus than to truck it out.
And where's the 9% grade?
9% grade is right as you turn that first turn to the right between there and the second turn.
As you're exiting it or as you're entering it? I'm sorry.
Well, as you enter campus, it's relatively level, but as soon as you've made that turn,
That turn is,
then you're going up a steep pitch before you make the next turn.
okay.
And then you can see after you made that second turn, it's sort of a darker section.
Yep.
So that's the gravel section. That's that 220-foot long gravel section before it goes back to pavement. And that gravel section, as I said, is about 1 to 2% grade. And then once we get beyond that, it then pitches up again before we get to the existing.
So the intent is not to pave that section
We are intending not to pave it as part of phase one.
as part of phase one? Okay.
But this particular design, this particular shape is so that overall the inclines and declines are somewhat minimized.
We're trying not to go over. We're trying to stay below 10%.
Yeah.
So we stayed below 10%, and to achieve that, we had to do this S turn to loop around.
Result is.
And you can see a dashed line that sort of loops around. It sort of cuts in where Mount Zion Church is. You can see that dashed line that sort of loops around. That's all wooded today. It's planned to be remain as wooded as part of phase one. But that's a section of property that's available in a future phase for athletic purposes.
Right.
Whatever that is.
You know, you didn't mention, but I want to compliment you that you wouldn't think it's that steep a grade on the property we're talking about. I wouldn't have thought that. And one of the things that was first looked at by you and the engineers were walling it, putting a wall. And that cost would have been how much?
So we're not showing the walls right now because this is part of phase one. But yes, when we were looking at different variations of what a future campus build out could be, because of the size of things like athletic fields and the 50-foot grade change, that you have to be very careful with how you design that so that you mitigate or you reduce any sort of retaining walls, because yes, retaining walls are fairly expensive. Now you can do it through other means. If you can do it where it's a 1-on-3 or 2-on-3 pitch, you don't need retaining walls, and you can do that through stabilizing the soil with other planted materials.
Yeah, that's a good change, and we thank you for doing it. It saves a lot of money.
And then the existing park where we have the overflow parking, I mean, that stays. It's probably, that's just a general question.
Grass field, yeah.
It's a grass field.
Oh,
Yeah, well, yeah.
You can't employ any of that for any fields or anything like that.
Yeah, so we've talked about, so that spot right there, that is remaining all open space.
Yeah.
That is not going to be disturbed in any phase at all. We've talked about that, keeping that open field concept, that open yard, having that, and that's another place for the overspill of parking, especially when we have large events there.
Well, that's a good point, because neither Mount Zion Church property nor the historic view corridor are affected by this proposed project.
Okay.
That was an important point that was made earlier. I'd like to talk a little bit about schedule, because one of the goals here was actually to try to get this road open and used for this next summer. So when having events next summer where there's a lot of vehicles on campus, that you can utilize this second means of egress off of campus. We're looking at the next couple of months of doing the approval process, followed by bidding out this work in late winter, early spring, and performing this work in the spring, during the spring months, so that it can theoretically be open for the 4th of July. So that's the plan. We hope that we can stay on schedule here. We have put together a draft EAF, which we will circulate. There's also a draft SECRA resolution, and we are hoping that the town board acts as lead agent on this project. And I don't know if you've seen it yet, but I know that Dave Smith is putting together a memo associated with that.
I think we're
Yeah.
voting on that
We're doing it
tonight.
tonight.
Yeah, we're
Voting
actually,
on-
we're actually going to vote on it tonight.
Perfect.
I know it came in, so I know it came in later than when we got the agenda out. This is why we added it on to this evening, because it's for people to know that the time is of the essence here when it comes to this and making sure we have everything in order and to be able to complete the project by that July 3rd deadline when we have the event. So we do have it on the agenda tonight to take a vote on it.
If you have any other questions, I'm here to answer them. Otherwise,
Is it done yet?
hang on.
Is it done yet?
Is it done yet?
Are we there yet?
Could you,
Well, the amazing thing now versus about 30 years ago is with technology, we can make it look like it's already done in images, even if it's not.
Yeah.
So we'll give you 3D goggles and you can experience
That'd be great.
visually,
more important than
virtually.
today's world? So, just see it, can we just list, the most important part of phase one is the road. That's the biggest part of it. What else would be included in that, which may or may not be finished, but it is part of phase one? Pickleball.
Pickleball courts may or may not be done.
Right.
As you say, what are we gunning for to try to get
Absolutely.
complete? That road. We'd like that road in there. The parking spaces that are either on either side of the top end, it would be great to have those too, because when you have large events, you don't have enough parking on campus. So those two would be the two primary things that we would want to have complete at that point. Pickleball and the lighting associated with pickleball might follow, but it's still part of phase one.
How many spaces are in that section up there?
26,
Okay.
but you actually lose 4 spaces to create the connection, so it's a net 22.
Pick up 22 spaces.
All right, get started.
Good stuff. We vote on it now?
Yeah,
All right,
yeah.
go ahead.
All right. So
Very happy.
I'll make a motion to initiate the SECRA, the State Environmental Quality Review Process, and declare the town board as, do I have to do it separately or can I do them all in one? Do the town board as lead agency? So, okay. So make the motion to initiate SECRA, State Environmental Quality Review Process.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. And then I'll make a motion to declare the town board intent to be lead agency.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved.
Nice.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Eric.
Thanks, Eric.
All right, have a good
Appreciate it.
holiday, Eric.
Rich, you don't win the sweater contest.
I'm sorry, I'll get uglier. I'll get uglier.
Not a contest,
If that's possible.
right? So, there you go.
We'll go for it.
Oh.
Got to give all the credit to my wife. She's can pick out ugly sweaters.
I don't want to say anything, but it's the same one he wore last year.
It's true.
That's all I'm saying.
I'm trying to go for.
I'm just saying, yeah, but
I'm trying to go back to back. I'm trying to go back. I'm
Looking for a three-peat
I'm
on
trying to go back to back on this.
all right.
I'm trying to,
Beat it.
you know, I'm trying to,
All right.
you know, you know,
Two Pete.
you know. So let's move.
Saying.
Let's move on to number 4 here. Authorize supervisor to execute the renewal contract for the town's 2025 tax map maintenance with CAI Technologies per email from Teresa Stegner, assessor, dated December 3rd, 2024. I'll make the motion to authorize.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Number 5 here is consider granting a temporary waiver of provisions of application processing restrictive law, chapter 67 of town code to the resident of 8 Silver Springs Court per memo dated December 5th, 2024 from Thomas J. Tuma Jr., building inspector. Make the motion to grant the waiver.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Number 6, consider approval of completed projects to which ARPA funds will be allocated to satisfy the requirements to obligate and to spend the ARPA funds by December 31st, 2024, per recommendation from Robert Kehoe, Director of Finance. So let me just kind of go over some of the jobs here, are some of the things that we did for the ARPA fund money. So if everybody's not familiar,
This is a tremendous thing.
on March
Bob, you want to come up maybe?
It's a lot of money.
Yeah, I'll read this first as Bob makes his way up. On March 11th, 2021, the federal government signed into law the American Rescue Plan Act, or ARPA, that addresses issues related to COVID-19 pandemic. The ARP Act also creates new programs to address continuing pandemic-related crises and fund recovery efforts. It provides significant funding to local governments and school districts in New York State. The town was allocated $2,221,711, and which of that 1,106,355 was received in 2021, and the remainder of 1,106,356 was remained in 2022. You want me to go over some of the projects that we did, and then you want?
Sure. Yeah. Now that we all have lists in front of you.
Yeah.
So some of those projects that we used the funds for, we used some of those at nutrition, the Van Castle, the senior center, in essence of up to almost about 216, a little over 216,000. That was for roof replacement. That was for passenger van and an ambulatory passenger van as well. And then we spread that out a little bit to Parks and Recreation, the Reese Park playground equipment, the Reese Park sign, the KG&D architects here, and then we had 2 trucks, the Dodge 3500 and the Dodge pickup, and that was it was about 381,000. Police, we did 3 police Explorers and Uplift for 2022 and 2023, and the police Ford F-150, and that was close to a little close to about 231,000. Other community projects, the Heritage Hills emergency generator, and that is again the emergency generator that is at our warming center. We have that. That's our main warming center that we have in town. The townhouse meeting room with the video equipment that you guys see here today. And we also did a ton of tree pruning and removal of hazardous trees in the area. And we also did the Lake Shenorock aeration. That was a little over 340,000. Some of the other things, the townhouse, an annex roof were replaced, and also the Old Bet Monument, and that was 125,000. And then some of the stuff we came from, we went to the highway. We had 5500 dump cab chassis with plow, John Deere wheel loader, chassis Freightliner, multi-body dump, and then we had a Dodge Durango and a Ram utility, and that was about a little over 911,000, which gave us the number of 2,212,712. And all of this as well, with the approval of the ARPA funds going to these completed projects, that will free up some funds for future purchases and town projects, and we can put that into the paving, some of those things, and so that will go without having to bond some of that going down in the future. And Bob, if you want to touch on anything else.
No, I think it's been good procedure going through and deciding what's important to the town to spend this money on, and I think it's being well spent. All things that are very important to the town, and now we can redeploy this money, since these monies have already been expended, to other projects within the town.
And this is all because all ARPA funds have to be spent by January 1st. Is that
They
right?
need to be
December 31st.
or obligated.
Or obligated.
Have a contract in
Right.
place, and it's
Right.
best.
Spending, I think, is 2 years down.
Then you have 2
You have
years.
obligated,
To be
and then, got it.
Right.
And have we obligated every dollar of it? Or
These have already been spent, so
every dollar?
we were now finished with the
100%.
process. And
100.
yeah, so it's best
I
not,
was looking, there's a $5 item out there. I was trying to sneak it in.
well, sure.
So Bob, just from a report, or a document requirement point of view for the grant, I mean, you have to provide all the invoices and everything. Each one-
You have to go through audit with the O'Connor Davies, and that's something that'll get done probably at the same time we're having the regular audit. And then in April, we report to federal government of all the things we spent the money on.
And when you report it, is it summary reporting or detail?
It essentially this,
With the audit essentially saying,
most
you know,
likely,
look
yeah.
at it, yeah, okay.
To be determined. I'm not sure about that yet, but we certainly report everything. As you can see, if you can go on and see what other towns and municipalities have done in
Yeah,
the
okay.
country. I think spending it on these kind of items is direct benefit to all.
No question.
Players-
It's just work to get the, get everything in line.
It is.
Have other towns put in their applications, so to speak, with this and had their hands slapped? Like, it isn't for that, buddy. You got to use it on other stuff. Or
As
it's
this
so
process-
general that it's hard to go outside the boundaries.
They've made it more broader what you can spend your money on since when they first came out with the regs on this. And we've seen that over various webinars we've spent time on in the last 3 years. So it's not that you can spend the money on anything.
No, I'm sure.
It's virtually anything that you're seeing in front of you. I mean, you could do it, people spend it on all kinds of things that's not directly like infrastructure and equipment related. People can spend it on affordable housing. You could spend it on things for broadband. I mean, you can be there certain things that other.
But there's been no egregious examples of poor spending that have been brought to your attention. Hey, before December 31st, don't do this. Nothing like that has occurred.
Not that I.
Any terrible examples? Okay, good.
No.
You want money spent well,
Yes.
not wasted.
No, I think the town did
Fair money.
a great job in allocating the funds to different, departments. And, yeah, the town can see from what we've done, and will benefit greatly from it.
Did you go to department heads and say to them, hey, do you have things that might qualify under these categories? And
No, we kind of just looked at it, and when we went through the list of all the projects and different equipments that we purchased, and we kind of looked at it, and we kind of, we have a list of so many, and then we looked at it and we kind of said, this is a good idea. I think this would be great. We put this in here. Then we kind of, square up the numbers and how the numbers work, right? And say, all right, well, this is a little bit over, so let's move it and add this one and take away that. So it was kind of a little bit of a jigsaw puzzle to get it, but
But this is
we were able to do it.
much of the larger projects that we've done.
right.
That's what you're seeing.
So the projects that were done were actually done in cooperation with all the individual department heads. I mean, they've requested this
It's
work. And
items they would
this is more about the funding of it.
right.
Yes.
So again, this frees up this money
Right.
to be used
Yeah.
for
These are things we would have done.
anyway.
Now
Anyway.
it frees up that money that would have been spent, and we can use that in other places, as you said, capital projects where we're going to need it,
Right.
especially.
Right.
Perfect.
I think so.
All right, great.
Very good.
Great. So, I'll make the motion here to approve the completed projects for the ARPA funds.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
Thank you.
now have a
You.
solid.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Have
Have a good Christmas, Bob.
sweater. You got to have a golf sweater. It's not good looking. Come on.
After seeing this, I think you rode in on a sled.
Oh, Oh.
Pretty good. And then the last one here is an add-on, Patty. This is for sidewalk. And this is to accept the credit in the amount of $11,659.25 when it'll be used towards any other project costs that come in. But we, in essence, the sidewalk supplemental proposal, which included items that were not in the original proposal, asphalt, joint adhesive, additional paving, ADA button extension, and also includes items that were in the original proposal that were not used during the construction. So we had an extra, we didn't use some stuff, so they're reimbursing us back some of the money, so a credit. So I'd like to make the motion to accept the credit of $11,659.25.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so moved. All right, Parks and Rec, there is no additional business. Financial, no additional business. Highway, nothing there. Current vacancies, Affordable Housing Board, Assessment Board of Reviews, Planning Board, 1 7-year term. And then the Library Board of Trustees, 2 5-year terms ending in 2024. So if anybody wants to be on one of these boards, Planning, Library, Affordable, or Assessment Board of Reviews, please contact my office and we'll set up a time to meet. If we move on to number 3 there, we want to acknowledge the resignation of Ann Garrity, part-time office assistant, Auto Systems with the Town Clerk's Office, effective end of business on December 5th, 2024.
with regret.
With regret.
With regret.
Would you like to say anything, Tom?
No, she enjoyed working here Patty's, as we all know, is phenomenal. But you know, it's funny, she worked through the COVID time and was the greeter at the door. So she was the one greeting everybody, making sure they had masks on and all that. But she was here for 7 years. 7 years. So,
That's what I remember her most for, is doing that and doing it so well. Always with a smile, always helpful to people, always knowing what to do. She just did it so well. I'm sure it's one of the many things she did in the clerk's office, but that was, a public face of the town for a bit, along obviously in the office each day. And I just thought she was a great face for the public during a difficult time.
I will pass that on to her.
Yes. Thank you, Ann, for your time spent here at the town.
Thank you, thank you.
All right, on to number 4, request to pay out 10 unused vacation days to Steve Ralston, Superintendent of Parks and Recreation, per email dated December 6, 2024, from Steve Ralston, Superintendent of Parks and Recreation.
I don't know.
I'll make the motion to request the payout of 10 unused vacation days.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. And then here again for number 5, request to pay out 10 unused vacation days for Thomas J. Toombs Jr., Building Inspector, per email dated December 6th, from Thomas J. Toombs Jr., Building Inspector. Make the motion to request the 10 unused vacation days.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Planning and
Anybody's look, that's the most you can carry over.
yes.
That's the limit.
And then planning and engineering, we have nothing here. Police, consensus agenda, make the motion here to approve the consensus agenda as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Moved. And then on to the calendar here. Our next meeting will be a special meeting on December 30th at 9:30 here at the Elephant Hotel. And it's to sign our abstracts. And then 2025 calendar, January 9th, we're going to have the town board organizational meeting and the town board work session. And then we also have January 16th, town board regular meeting, and then February 6th and February 13th, 7 p.m., which we need to adopt. We may need to switch those, right? We'll be combining those.
One of those, we just don't know.
We just don't know which one.
When is-
That will be for a special election,
Which one? February?
February. That's for the special election, right, Patty, that will be taking place?
Oh, county.
County exec.
Right,
Okay.
trying to fill the,
It's kind of.
right.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
So there is early voting for that as well. That's why we have to kind of be there. So we'll approach that when we get to it. Thank you. And I will,
That'll be a heavy turnout, middle of winter.
and let's go
Very.
some announcements here. Town Christmas tree tradition. There's a 6-foot ruler outside the Christmas tree. If you want to take a picture in front of that, and that's Monday through Friday from 9 to 4:30. Illuminate Somers. That is Sunday, December 15th. Starting times can be scheduled in half-hour increments beginning at 5 o'clock. Each tour is approximately 90 minutes. You want to go to the somerslionsclub.org, and prizes will be awarded to the houses that registered. Town of Somers Seniors at Van Tassel House Holiday Party. That's Thursday, December 19th, 11 to 3. Travelers Rest, $65, cash only. Move on here, Menorah Lighting, and that's sponsored by Shabbat of Yorktown. That's Thursday, December 26th. That is the second night of Hanukkah. We'll be right here at the Somers Town Hall. And that's 5:15 face painting, 6 o'clock is the menorah lighting. Somers Historical Society will have the 3rd floor open. The Holidays on the Hill annual train show, now through Sunday, January 5th, Lasden Parks. Muscoot Holiday Lights on the Farm, Friday and Saturdays, December 13th, 14th, 20th, and 21st, and that's 5 to 8. General admission, $6 per person, free for children 2 and under. Town of Somers Blood Drive, January 3rd, 1:30 to 7:30, right here at the Town Hall. And there are local food pantries at St. Luke's Episcopal Church and Community Center for Northern Westchester. That is it for the announcements. Patty.
Just, Yeah.
You go, and then we'll have Patty.
yeah, just one or two more. The Lions are doing holiday caroling at the Paramount for the senior there at 3 p.m. this Sunday, 12:15. All are welcome. It's a real good time, and the people who are there greatly appreciate it. So come on, come all. And also this Saturday, December 14th at Van Tassel House will be, the Lions will be doing the Adopt a Family program again for the umpteenth consecutive year. And we're very fortunate. We got 50 deserved families, all sponsored. So everybody who signed up got a sponsor, and thank you to the
great.
townsfolk.
We did here at the town
Everything.
hall.
I got a-
Yeah.
You have anything? Rich, do you have anything?
No, thank you.
Friday and Saturday night, Somers High School students are going to put on
Merry Christmas.
their annual play.
Yep, which one?
It's going to be Clue.
Clue.
It's going to be Clue.
Friday and Saturday night?
Friday and Saturday night, you get tickets at the door.
Right.
And how do I know this? The
You got a
Jacqueline-
clue.
Yeah, you have a clue. Jacqueline is supervising the set construction.
Is that right?
I was over there the other night. It is a crazy, amazing thing. They're not using 2x4s.
Yeah.
I mean, they use radial arm saws, chop saws,
Really?
screws. I mean, it's unbelievable. And these kids are just, men and women, children, I mean, students, they're putting it together.
Oh,
My money's on Colonel Mustard. He did it.
the candles.
A very amazing
The
thing.
candles.
All right, so come and enjoy.
All right, that's a good idea.
I'll just, again, I'm sure we'll say it again, but everybody, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, have a safe holiday season, and we'll see you back here again in January.
Yeah, don't,
Absolutely.
Happy New Year, right?
Happy New Year too.
Christmas, happy.
Patty, we're going to close it out with you, the fun facts.
See you next year.
On this day in 1977, Saturday Night Fever premiered.
Oh.
Oh. Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, but for those of you who couldn't see the dance that we just got, I was able to see it sitting right here, so.
That was the fact. Oh.
Feel good ending.
Well, thank you, everyone. It's been another year.
It's been a great year.
A great year for the town, and we've got a lot of things accomplished from this town board. Great work by all of you guys. Thanks so much. On to 2025, and everybody out there have a happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year, and until we see you again next year. Good night, everyone.
Be safe.
Happy holiday.
Oh, I need to motion to adjourn tonight's meeting.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Well done, gentlemen.